Hi, this is Cheryl Mays from Rise and Shine CF, and I am so excited. Oh my gosh, I am so excited because this is the Author's Lane. And if you've had an opportunity to join us, you know that we do this every day where we actually get to share an author with you. What better way to learn about a book or potential book other than to hear it from the author's mouth as to what was the inspiration, what's their intent for the book. And this is not a book club, but this is truly an experience. And I am excited today because I have Mr. Ryan L. Jones. And before I tell you how I know Ryan, let me do the official. This is Mr. Ryan L. Jones. He is an entrepreneur, a pastor, a coach, a mentor. He is an on-air personality as well as an author. And you are presently a counselor at a school in Atlanta.
Yes, yes.
And what's the name of the school again?
It's Fulton Leadership Academy. It's an all-boys charter school. I have a group of boys from 6th grade up until they graduate from high school. So 6
awesome.
to 12.
6 through 12. So carrying on with how we met, right? Carrying on with how we met. So give you some insight. Ryan and I knew each other, oh my gosh, more than 10 years, I'm going to say.
Yeah,
for the sake of us having to pull out a calculator. More than 10 years when we worked in education.
Yes.
And one of the pieces that I loved to what we did, and we all seem to have still have some of that in our blood, and that was going out and encouraging youth at that time specifically.
Yes.
Encouraging the youth, motivating them, getting them information so that they can make life choices. And so that's what we were doing. And that's when I met Ryan in Atlanta. And I'm so excited to be able to come back and now say, hey, Ryan, I've got this idea. And would you be a part of it? And graciously, you said yes. So thank you so very, very much.
Yes.
And so one of the things that I do want to talk about is before we get into the book, because Ryan's going to tell us all about his books, and not only one book, but Ryan has written 5. You've written 5 books, correct?
Right.
So you have written 5 books. And so the great thing I love about this segment is because it's not a book club, we actually get to talk about things like what made you want to even wake up in the morning and go, I'm going to write a book. Or, what happens when you have that writer's block? Does it exist? What do you do? How do you stay focused? So those questions that readers want to know that goes beyond, hey, tell me about your book.
Right.
And we're going to hit on that too. So I have here that I copied down from your website. I believe it was your website or your marketing piece. And I wrote it down because I loved it. And it says, one of your goals is to inspire individuals to have a desire to go higher.
Yes, that has become my tagline for many, many years, because when I get up in the morning and when we had those opportunities to go out into those schools to make a difference, at the end of the day, it was, and it still truly is, my desire to inspire people to go higher, because I think sometimes we settle for mediocrity, we settle for average, we settle for just being, and a lot of times we don't look beyond the break, so to speak, at the bigger picture. I did a call last night and I was sharing with the audience that we spend a lot of time in our cars, the car of life, and we spend a lot of time looking in the rear view mirror as opposed to looking at the windshield. Well, the windshield has the bigger picture, but the rear view mirror has the smaller picture. And therefore, we spend the time focusing on where we've been as opposed to where we're going. So it is my desire to just inspire people to go higher and to live a higher life.
I love that because it sort of fits in with what I do also. My goal is to help people reach their fullest potential so that you can maximize your performance. And so when you look at that, I think there are so many people that are kind of hung up on either a limited belief or something that's happened in the past that they just haven't been able to move beyond because they didn't have the skills, they didn't have the techniques. I love techniques. They didn't have the techniques that actually walks you through a process so that you can get to a place where you can see, right?
Yes.
I like to say it's clarity, right? Where you have
Absolutely.
clarity.
Absolutely.
You know, so I love books like this because it gives you the ability to use what I call that third eye. And you can look inward from, you know, another place and go, okay, wait a second. You know, now it's like when you listen to your pastor and he goes, when you have to say ouch, just say ouch.
Yes.
So that's why I love these topics. Now, you also spend a lot of time talking to not only students, but you also do retreats. You talk to individuals, you do motivational speaking, and you have a radio show. Is that still in effect, the radio program?
We're relaunching it. It's called the Empowerment Clinic with Ryan L. Jones, and we're relaunching it. As a matter of fact, last night was what I did. I did it via social media, just to really get people connected. So the show is all about, it's about empowering people. I think a lot of times in life, we don't take time to, first of all, empower ourselves and then really speak a word to other people. So I came up with the idea to launch a radio show and to just really, it is online. So it's really, I had an opportunity and have an opportunity to speak to so many people around the world simply because it gives the platform to really just uplift people. You mentioned something about looking inward. When we look inward, it is our goal, or it should be our goal, to look inward so that we are going forward, onward, and upward in the best life that we could have.
I agree with you, you know. And so if somebody wants to follow you via radio to get this daily inspiration, how do they do that?
All of my social media, all of my contact, they can contact me at Stand Tall Ryan. STANDTALLRYAN at Stand Tall Ryan. They can find me on any social media platform, with the exception of I don't do the what is that, the TikTok and Snapchat. I don't do those two, but all the others people can find me.
Well, and here's what's so unique about Stand Tall Ryan, because we did not mention this.
No, we didn't.
You are how tall? Like
6'9".
State building.
6'9". and so I played on that. So when you talk about my tagline, I inspire people to go higher. I'm talking about elevation and expansion, and I use my height. So that's when I came up with Stand Tall Ryan. I was like, wait a minute, that's catchy. I'm 6'9", so you can't forget it when you see me, because when people see me and after I speak, or when I do a lecture or a workshop, a seminar or something like that, people will ask me for my social media, and I say it's easy to remember. It's just my name plus Stand Tall. Put Stand Tall in front of my name, and there you have it.
Well, there you go. And we're also going to put that in the comment section so that you actually have that in case you forget, because you can't see how tall he is.
Yes.
It's Empire State Building tall.
There you go. There you go.
Well, and so now let's get into the books.
Sure.
So you have 5 books.
Yes.
That are all available now.
Yes. Yes.
And so Straight from the Heart.
Yes.
Powerful Beyond Measure. Set Your Mind on Things Above. Words of Wisdom. And then A Season of Change. And you have all 5 of those. So kind of hold them up so we can see what they look like.
And a brand new one that was just released, poetry. I've written some poetry about 15 years ago or so, and I never published it, and I decided to publish it, and Powerful Beyond Measure. And the Words of Wisdom book I don't have right now.
Okay.
But, yeah.
And
So that's it. That's what I enjoy doing. I've always enjoyed writing ever since I was a kid, and I think I still have my first book.
Okay.
I put my hand on it last night. My very first book, which was just a couple sheets of paper that I typed, put a staple in it, and yeah, that was my very first. But I held on to it for all these years.
And so now we have to ask, right? What was the name of the book?
Right. So I don't know. I guess somewhere along the line in doing that little book of poetry. It's probably 10 pages because I used the copy paper and did all the typing and put it all together. And I guess in my life, or in my younger life, I just knew that I was going to write books when I did that.
Okay.
There were probably only 3 copies of it made. I think when I wrote it, I gave a copy to each one of my grandmothers. And
okay. So, that was your audience, right?
that was my audience. Yes, that was my audience.
That's where you got the love and admiration. If you could give your book to anybody that's going to say, "Oh, we so love you," it would be Grandma.
Yes, yes, yes.
Keep going.
What? That's where it started. Hey.
So, and so now you are 5 books in.
Yes.
And so now are these, do you consider yourself to have a genre?
I don't like self-help might be along the line, but I want to say encouragement. It's all about encouraging and empowering people, because when I look back and think about the content of each one of the books, it is something that's really, it can help you, but it's empowering. It's helping people to be elevated and expand, and at the same time, it's all about growth. I by no means want this to be a guide, but it's just to plant a seed and to get people thinking a little differently. The last book, before I wrote the email, A Season of Change, it's got about 20 different little sections, and there are different nuggets in each one of them. And I just a couple of them, I talk about the power of you and the power of yes. The power, and all of them start with the power to something.
Okay.
Give yourself permission to live. What does it mean to make the impossible possible? And for us to take the limits off for just a few, but there are 20 different nuggets that I've written in the book just to get people to think a little differently.
And so your motive for the book is to get people to kind of shift their foundation of thought.
Absolutely.
And to kind of think about things a little differently. And so what would be the one piece that you would want a reader to truly walk away from, if there is one piece?
I think the title in itself, A Season of Change, even though we look at life and a lot of us believe that we have arrived at that point, we still have opportunity to grow. One of the things I learned from one of my former supervisors a long time ago was to be a lifelong learner. And so that's been my goal, is to continue to be a lifelong learner and continue to change and continue to evolve and continue to grow and continue to become a better version of myself. So with A Season of Change, it's all about looking at life. And even if it's making some simple minor changes, you want to make changes along the way to help you become a better version of yourself.
Okay. And so now, when you look at your early experience, and you said that you started writing the book of poetry a long, long time ago, what was your first moment? What was your first inspiration that said, you know what, I think I'm going to write books. That's what I'm going to do.
I think it's life in general. Just being a young man I was young and I observed a lot. I think my grandmother or someone told me, this is probably my grandmother, who said, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen twice as much as we talk. And I took that, and that has become a part of what I do. I listen more so than I talk. And so life has just taught me a lot of valuable lessons. And then my pastor years ago told me something else that just really brought all of this home. He asked the question, he said, would you rather have a short pencil or a long memory? Needless to say, I said a long memory. Then he said, no, a short pencil. And I'm like, why? So he said, because you can write things down that your memory can't hold on to. Okay. That was just something that just was like, wow. And so for every time I have a thought, I write it down. I keep paper and pencil with me all the time. Or even if I don't have paper and pencil, I have my phone, and I make a lot of notes so that when I do have these thoughts, or when I do want to write, I can always refer back to that.
You know, it's so interesting you say that, because I do exactly the same thing. It's like you could be driving and you'll see something, you'll be like, oh my gosh, that's a piece of genius right there. I need to write that down.
Right.
Or you could be talking with someone and, you know, just have a thought. And so you have like this collection of, you know, rather it be sentences or words or a collection of, you know, motivational quotes that you just kind of put together so that when you do get ready to sit down, you're like, okay, I've got stuff, you know, that I can pull together.
Right.
And so let me ask you this, because I know a lot of readers are, you know, when they look at authors and they seem to think, you know, oh my gosh, you know, it takes 4 years to write a book, or it takes a year to write a book. And you hear some people that say it takes 30 days to write a book. So what is your process?
When I feel like it. And all of that's correct. Let me get this book. This was my 4th book, I believe it was. The book was about this thick when I started, because I had all this content and I sat on it for 10 years. And this is what it ended up being, because it was just so much content, it was so many thoughts and so much stuff going on. And when I began to put it together, I said, Ryan, that's way too much. If you condense it down, I think you'll do a better job at it. And that's what I ended up doing. I ended up condensing it to what it is right now, because it was just too much content. Sometimes, I think you mentioned a writer's block. I'm working on a brand new book. And I just published the one for young men. So I was thinking, I said, wait a minute, I just wrote a book for young men. Let me write something for young women. So there is my thought process is the title of the new book is called Things I Told My Daughter, because when she went off to college, there was some thoughts in my head that needed to be shared. And so that's going to be something that I'm putting into book form for my new book. But right now, during this school outage and things going on, I have a lot of time to write, but I just have not been in the mindset to do so. I will sit down here at my computer and I'll say, okay, Ryan, just write a chapter, and nothing happens, and I'll just turn my computer off. So it'll happen. Next week is we're on spring break, so maybe next week, although we're out of school, so to speak, maybe next week during spring break, I'll write something.
There you go. And you know, that's what's interesting, I think, because when readers look at authors, you kind of go, okay, they must sit down and just write until it's finished. And that's not always the case, because much like what you said, you literally have to be in the mindset of saying, okay, let me do this. But then once you get going, it's like, oh my gosh, now I can't stop.
Yes. I heard the story. Maya Angelou used to check herself into a hotel room with a bottle of wine, and she would write. And that's how she would come up with what she would write about, because she would be locked away, secluded from everyone, and just write. And I think what we have to do is find that niche to do when we can do it. I can do my best writing early in the morning or late at night. Preferably early in the morning, because I'm up, no one else in the house is up, and I'm fresh in my thoughts, and I can put stuff down on paper.
You know, it's funny how that happens, because everybody has like their method.
Yeah.
Either early morning, late at night, or, you know, at some point, you know, either out at the park somewhere where you're sitting on a bench, or, you know, something, wherever it is that you are ignited and you're actually able to start doing that. So, okay, now I have a question I've asked everyone, because it's a fun question.
Sure.
And it's, as a writer, what would you choose as your mascot, your avatar, or your spirit animal?
Whoa. I'm drawn to a lion. Why? I'm drawn to a lion because the attitude of a lion. The lion is feared by everyone. All the animals fear the lion. And it's simply because of the attitude of the lion. The lion can look at an elephant. An elephant is much bigger, much stronger, much wiser, all of that when in comparison to a lion. But the elephant thinks that he's lunch, whereas the lion thinks that he's lunch. And so the elephant fears the lion, a cat for that matter, because he thinks he's lunch. He thinks that this cat is going to eat me. And it's all about the lion's attitude. The lion feels like I can eat that elephant. And so that's where I would be because of the attitude, just the attitude to feel like we can conquer anything.
Mm-hmm. And that kind of takes us back to your tagline.
I inspire you with the desire to go higher. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, Ryan, this has been so interesting having a conversation with you. I hope readers get an opportunity to not only, you know, look at the books individually, but to look at, you know, what's behind the books. Is that and not necessarily a need, but that you want individuals to understand that they have a higher potential.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you know, as an author, any opportunity that you get to actually share that, you know, with readers, you know, I think a lot of times people look at the picture on the back of the book and go, I wonder what that person does. Like, I wonder, you know, who this person is. And that's why I love this segment, is because you actually get to see that. And you get to kind of hear the words, you know, that I always say it's the story behind the actual story.
Absolutely.
And so I am so excited that you took this time to actually share with us today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
So here we have Ryan L. Jones, and you can reach him at Stand Tall Ryan. That is all of his social media sites, or you can follow him there, except for TikTok and Snapchat. He's not there, so don't look for him.
Probably won't go there, but okay.
And then the newest book is The Email. And so there's just a series of books that you can find under Ryan Jones that are all inspirational, motivational. You know, I always look at, no matter what happens in our lives, we always need a fresh look at ourselves. And, you know, to be able to go to a book and open it up and, you know, turn to that favorite page that you circled or that highlighted, that quote in the book that just kind of takes you from where you are to where you need to be. I think that's just always so important. So I am excited to be able to have readers hear from you the purpose of the book. So now your books are all available on Amazon?
All available on Amazon, absolutely.
Okay. So readers, you heard it, Ryan L. Jones, his books are available on Amazon. I'm also, in the comment, I'm going to put a list of all of the books so that you can actually see the titles for all of the books, as well as his social media handles. And I always talk to people about reviews because I love getting reviews. One of the things that I love for my book was to get a review and to just kind of hear, you know, how a reader interpreted what the book was saying to them, because everybody interprets differently. And so what are your thoughts on an author having the opportunity to get reviews?
Love it. I love it. And to your point, because it gives the reader the opportunity to share with me their thought. What are your thoughts behind what was penned in this book? And I love the people who write reviews about my books, and it's really encouraging as well, because it helps me become better at what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's a huge piece that you said, that it helps you become better, because, you know, as authors, you're always trying to inspire people to be better. And now there's that reciprocity, right? I'm inspiring you to be better. So take a few moments just to write a few sentences, you know, a few words where I can look at it and go, okay, now I feel better. And so there's that, you know, there's that global I'm for you and you're for me kind of mantra going on. So definitely get the books, write a review. It is always so very important for an author to receive reviews, because we can use them in a multitude of ways. But more importantly, it's an opportunity to know that, you have resonated with your reader and you get an idea as to what it is that they're actually taking in. And so it's a great, great thing. Hey, Ryan L. Jones, my friend from way back when.
Way back when.
It was a great, great pleasure talking to you, Ryan.
Pleasure's mine.
If there is anything that I did not ask you, is there anything you would like to get to the readers?
Just stay encouraged, stay empowered, stay uplifted, keep moving forward, keep moving onward, and keep moving upward.
Thank you so much. So you heard it from Ryan L. Jones. Go ahead, get the book. You can also visit him on his website. It's ryanljonesandassociates.net. I said that correctly. ryanljonesassociates.net. He's available as a speaker. He's available to come out and talk to your youth. He's available to come out and motivate, inspire, and share words of wisdom. So definitely reach out, get the book, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and have a fabulous day. And we will see you again on the next segment of The Author's Lane. Thank you, Mr. Ryan Jones, so very much.
Thank you.